professionals, including Americans. According to the UN, no food, fuel, and little water or any kind of aid has entered Gaza in over a week.
Mediators, including those from the U.S., are continuing to try and break the deadlock over delivering aid into the territory. 3 hours from now, the House of Representatives begins voting on Jim Jordan's nomination to be Speaker. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy in Washington.
A secret ballot late last week showed 55 Republicans were unwilling to vote for Jim Jordan on the floor. Since then, the Freedom Caucus founder's been working to convince holdouts who worry he's too far to the right. He's been getting closer to the support he needs to win the gavel. But ABC News counts at least 10 Republicans who've said they won't vote for Jordan. Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon among them.
Some of us will not just be walked over.
Jordan can only afford to lose 4 fellow Republicans. He's hoping to prevail over successive rounds of votes. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Fresh off a federal judge placing a limited gag order on him in his election interference case, former President Trump is expected in New York for his civil fraud case today. ABC's Janice Yu says he thought he would be face-to-face with his former fixer, Michael Cohen.
Cohen is a key witness in the state's case, but said on social media last Friday that he needed to tend to a health problem and will not be able to testify this week. He says, though, he looks forward to testifying. According to a judge, the earliest he can now testify is October 23rd.
ABC's Janice Yu here in New York. You're listening to ABC News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Police in Belgium tracking down a gunman who saw and killed 2 Swedish soccer fans. The attacker was shot and killed himself.
The killings happened just a few miles from a stadium where over 35,000 fans were watching a Belgium-Sweden soccer match. That match was then suspended halfway through. Local media outlets have been airing amateur video showing a man shooting several times near the stadium using a large weapon. It's come at a time of increased vigilance linked to the ongoing Israel-Hamas war that's heightened tensions in several European states. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
A new border controversy in Texas, this time not with Mexico, but with New Mexico.
Over the past week, Texas National Guard members have been installing razor wire in a new place.
I saw for myself yesterday the concertina wire at the border of Texas and New Mexico, and I couldn't believe it.
Jerry Pacheco heads the Border Industrial Association. In a posting on X, Governor Greg Abbott said the barriers preventing illegal crossings from Mexico into Texas have been so effective that people are slipping into the U.S. through New Mexico and then coming east into Texas. Jerry Pacheco is not a fan of the new barrier.
It looks like we're in some occupied zone.
Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
We stepped up our buying in September, all of us, despite higher prices and interest rate hikes. Retail sales rose 0.7% last month, according to the Commerce Department. That's about twice what economists had expected. This is ABC News.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is the Peninsula's Morning News. Town Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, October 17th. Residents and businesses around Port Angeles cleaning up after a deluge of rain brought near flash flood conditions yesterday afternoon. About 3 p.m., some 2 inches of rain suddenly dropped on the region, all of it coming in less than half an hour. That quick, hard rain quickly overwhelmed storm drains, and with streets flooded, cars were plowing through a foot of water or more in many places. The streets running south to north were like rivers feeding all of this, and it all pushed the water over the curbs and into buildings in many parts of the area. Although forecasters expected heavy showers as a possibility and some thunderstorm cells yesterday, this volume and suddenness of the rain caught meteorologists and street crews by surprise. The printing company that Clallam County uses has been able to get the job done faster for the general election ballots. It means the county will drop those election ballots a day earlier to the post office. They're going out today instead of tomorrow, as was previously announced. More than 57,000 ballots will go out to all active registered Clallam County voters. Election day is Tuesday, November 7th. Those who are qualified, new voters, have until October 30th to register online or by mail, or have until 8 p.m. on Election Day to register in person at the Elections and Voter Registration Office at the courthouse. Registered voters may access their registration details and other voter information online at votewa.gov. Ballots must be postmarked or returned to a Clallam County ballot drop box by 8 p.m. on Election Day. The Seattle Times reporting the 52-year-old Indiana woman who drowned last week at Ruby Beach in Olympic National Park was brought back to shore by her husband and son, not by bystanders, as was originally reported by national park officials last week. Suzanne Newcomb, an Indianapolis resident and attorney, was vacationing with her family at the park. She was in the beach's tidal zone about 5:30 p.m. Wednesday when she was swept underwater by a wave. Brian Newcomb, Suzanne's husband, confirmed Sunday that the family were on the beach at low tide when his wife was swept off a rock by a wave. The couple's 17-year-old son immediately jumped in to try to rescue her, and Brian Newcomb, alerted by the screams of their 12-year-old daughter, said he also ran into the water. After a struggle in the sea, clinging to rocks amid crashing waves, Brian Newcomb said he and his son managed to pull Suzanne to shore. Among the bystanders were some vacationing nurses who helped perform CPR for about 40 minutes before medics arrived to continue life-saving efforts, but Suzanne Newcomb was eventually pronounced dead at Olympic Medical Center. More news after this.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Don't miss the world-famous Vienna Boys Choir. For more than 500 years, the Vienna Boys Choir has delighted and thrilled listeners of all ages. Their program includes favorite Strauss waltzes, classical masterpieces by Mozart and Haydn, as well as folk songs from around the world. Buy your tickets now for this very special performance by the legendary Vienna Boys Choir.
This is Steve Rader Ginsburg, Executive Director of Field Arts and Events Hall, inviting you to enjoy the Vienna Boys Choir, performing at Field Hall on October 19th at 7 p.m. This is the first time the Vienna Boys Choir has performed in the Pacific Northwest in over a decade. Don't miss your chance to see the world's oldest classical children's choir perform in the brand new Donna M. Morris Theater at Field Hall. Get your tickets now at fieldhallevents.org.
Buy your tickets now for this very special performance by the legendary Vienna Boys Choir.
The Lower Elwha Clallam tribe's first coho fishery on an Elwha River unimpeded by dams in more than 100 years got underway last week. Most of the river had been blocked to fish migration by the Elwha and Glines Canyon dams until they were torn down by 2014. Since then, tribal, national park, and state officials have been monitoring the river, waiting for a salmon run healthy enough to be fished on a limited scale. It is a very limited fishery for tribal and subsistence usage only, just 400 coho out of a total run of about 7,000 expected. The allowed method of fishing is by pole and line until later this week, when net fishing across half the river will be used until the fish limit of 400 is complete. We spoke with Tribal Chairwoman Frances Charles and Vice Chair Russ Hepfer about how the fishing was going after 1 week and what it means to tribal members to return to fishing after a long hiatus. Here's Chairwoman Charles on the tribe's October 9th opening day celebration on the river.
It was really inspired, very, very powerful to see what was taking place on our celebration, but just the glows and the smiles of our elders, the happy tears that we seen, and watching the little ones, having a few of them get a fish on their hook, and it was a joyful day for everybody.
Hepfer said as of yesterday, about 50 salmon had been caught using rod and reel, and 125 people had signed up for a permit, including a lot of younger ones.
They are. My son went down there. He's 17, and his group of friends went down, and I'm excited about that because they're young, and I'm glad they want to go fishing. So, but they're excited. I see people heading down the river every day. I'm pretty happy that we caught 50 fish, but I think that just goes to show you that traditionally we didn't use fishing poles.
Hepfer says this year's estimate of 7,000 returning cohos is still growing, and the number shows steady improvement over the last few years. He said they'll likely go to using nets across a part of the river this week in hopes of reaching that goal of 400 salmon.
We call this a CNS fishery, but in reality it's a test fishery because we're sampling literally every fish that's caught. They measure them and determine what sex they are, take scales, see if they got imprints in them, and sure, they're looking at every fish. So we will be taking a look at when we can put in the net, because we want to hit that 400 number for the data.
This is Newsradio KONP.
Would you like a beautiful new bathroom for the holidays? Hi, I'm Ursula Royteen for locally owned Bath Fitter. Bath Fitter just transformed my bathroom, and they can do the same for you in as little as 1 day. Get a new bathtub, safe walk-in shower, or tub-to-shower conversion now and pay 0 interest and make 0 payments until 2025. For nearly 40 years, Bath Fitter Northwest has done 40,000 local remodels. Hurry and book now and have a gorgeous new bathroom for the holidays. Go to bathfitternw.com.
Your finish comes first at First Race.
It's so hard to find a good time to wash your car or truck. Why not let the friendly folks at First Race Car Wash do the job in minutes? Get a wash and polish wax and fill up with high-quality Union 76 gas. Diesel's also available at First Race Car Wash.
You're a winner every time when you've got that First Race shine.
Ooh, your finish comes first at First Race.
Hi, this is Brandon Johnson, General Manager of Price Ford. I'm so excited to announce that we've won many awards for the Best of Peninsula, including #1 Auto Dealer and Best Auto Salesperson Abigail Walker. Congratulations, 2 years in a row.
Thank you. It makes me happy to know my customers had a great experience.
Being voted Best of Peninsula #1 Auto Dealer is an honor. Thank you to our customers and our team.
It starts with a great car at a great value.
Visit us at priceford.com or 457-3333.
If you want to see an animal that's right up close to you, Olympic Game Farm is the place. You'll find this ain't no zoo. See the bears that are actors and buffalo as big as tractors at the Olympic Game Farm in Squim.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Scattered rain showers likely today, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Highs level off around 56, winds out of the northwest around 5 miles an hour. Scattered rain showers again tonight, lows around 48, overcast skies. Chance for scattered showers tomorrow, high of 62. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Derek Height. Currently, it's 47 degrees.
From ABC Sports, this is Rich Cantu. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series in Philadelphia. Phillies hosting the D-backs. Bottom 1, the very first pitch from D-backs hurler Zach Gallen.
Swing and a drive, right field, way back, and gone! Off the scoreboard in right.
The call on ESPN Radio. Kyle Schwarber wasting no time putting the Phillies up early en route to a 5-3 win, cooling off the red-hot D-backs a little to take Game 1. American League Championship Game 2. Houston, you've got a problem. Top one, Nathaniel Lowe batting with 3 Rangers runs already in.
Delivers, and this ball is through the hole between third and short. Being waved in, Garcia. Here's the throw from Brantley. It's not even close to being on time.
The call on ESPN Radio, Texas ran off to a 5-1 lead. Houston's rally fell short. Rangers win 5-4 to take a 2-0 series lead. This is ABC Sports. Week 6 of the NFL ended in Los Angeles. Chargers hosting the Cowboys, tied at 10-all at the end of 3. They traded touchdowns to make it 17-17 in the 4th, later in the quarter.
So Aubrey, with 2:23 to go, is going to try a field goal of 39 yards. His kick is away, and the kick is good, and the Cowboys lead with 2:19 to play by a score of 20-17.
The call on 105.3 The Fan. Brandon Aubrey's late field goal was the difference. The Cowboys defense picked off Justin Herbert on the Chargers' next drive. Dallas escaped San Diego with a 2017 victory to go to 4-2 on the campaign. NHL, Panthers Devils in Newark, New Jersey.
Here's Barkov into the near circle, out to Ekman Larson at the line, backs up, long shot, tip, they scored at Sam Reinhart on the power play, 4-0 Panthers.
The call on WQAM, Florida Beach, New Jersey, 4-3. Rangers Coyotes tied at 1, middle of the third period.
Back out it comes to Panarin. Now Zibanejad. Zibanejad, cross ice. Across now for Panarin. Shoots! Score!
The call on 98.7 ESPN New York. Rangers hold on to edge the Coyotes 2-1. Rookie Connor Bedard didn't get a point, but the Blackhawks handed the Maple Leafs their first loss of the season, 4-1. Caps got by the Flames 3-2 in a shootout, and the Red Wings blanked the Blue Jackets 4-0. This is Rich Cantu, ABC Sports.
In local sports, it's a big week for the local soccer teams. Tonight, the 10th-ranked Squim Wolves will travel to Poulsbo to take on 6th-ranked North Kitsap. The Vikings are in first place with an 11-0 record. The Wolves in second at 9-1. A Viking win tonight would pretty much give them the league championship. The Rough Riders, who are in third place with a 6-5 record, travel to Olympic tonight. Both these games kick off at 6:45. In NWAC college soccer action, Peninsula hosts Edmonds tomorrow. The women kick off at 2. The men kick off at 4:15 p.m. In high school volleyball action today, the big game is in Poulsbo, where the first place 10-0 North Kitsap Vikings host the 8-2 Squim Wolves. A Viking win would give the Vikings another Olympic League championship. The Rough Riders at 3-7 tip-off at Olympic. Both matches start at 6:15 p.m. The NWAC and high school basketball season's just around the corner, and Newsradio KONP will give area basketball fans plenty of live action again this year. KONP plans to broadcast over 30 high school games from November 27th to the first week of February, and there will be 17 Peninsula College games broadcast between November 17th through the first week of February. Now, the remaining high school and Peninsula Pirate schedule will then depend on high school district tournament action after that. Some of our key games we'll broadcast are the Peninsula Pirates women's 3 games, December 14th through the 16th at the Blue Mountain Crossover Tournament in Pendleton, Oregon, and the Pirate men's opener on November 19th at Tacoma Community College. Casey Euland's Port Angeles Rough Rider boys will have a big-time home opener on November 29th with Sammamish, a game you'll hear here. And on consecutive nights, December 19th and the 20th, the State 1B champion Nia Bay Red Devils will host the Port Angeles and Squim Girls. We'll air both those games. Also, we'll air December 5th, the Squim Boys hosting Clover Park in a big matchup. Kraken Hockey back on the air tonight. They look for their first win on the young NHL season. We'll take the air at 6:30 here on KONP. Kraken Hockey brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Squim.
Let's re-elect Connie Beauvais for Port Commissioner. She understands the Port's role in creating jobs.
Government does not create private sector jobs, but rather provides jobs for one-shot projects like building a bridge. Your Port creates the environment and infrastructure that can create job opportunities for the long term. I will continue to work hard for this Port mission. I ask for your vote this fall.
Paid for by Re-elect Connie for Port.
I'm Connie Beauvais, candidate for Port Commission. I approved this ad.
Medicare open enrollment is here October 15th through December 7th, and if you're like most people on Medicare, you have questions. The statewide health insurance benefits advisors, known as SHEBA, can help inform you of your Medicare rights and options and see if you qualify for help with cost. SHEBA is a free, unbiased service provided by the Washington State Office of Insurance Commissioner. Get help today. Call Sheba 1-800-562-6900 or visit insurance.wa.gov.
Thanks for joining us for the Tuesday edition of the Peninsula's Morning News. We come up on 6:20 and next to check on Wall Street.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. This has no effect on vegetarians, but for the meat eaters out there, if the thought of replacing a steak or piece of chicken with mealworms or beetles doesn't work for you, you won't like this. Tyson Foods says it's buying a steak and Netherlands-based insect protein company Protix to diversify its operations. The joint venture will build a U.S. plant to make bug-based meal and oil, at first for animal food. Now, in a testament to consumer resilience, it turns out more of us were in a mood to shop in September than economists had expected. Retail sales rose 0.7% last month, more than double the forecast and down only slightly from the upwardly revised August result. Yet another big bank has good news with its latest quarterly results thanks to strong interest income. Bank of America earnings and revenue both topped forecasts. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs is reporting a quarterly profit and revenue that beat the estimates on stronger than expected trading revenue. Ahead of the bell, stock futures are lower. Steve Potusk, Bloomberg Radio.
First check of the roads on a Tuesday morning next. Brought to you by Angelus Furniture and by McCrory Carpet One.
Elevate your savings at Angelus Furniture. Right now, you can earn up to $1,500 in stressless credit toward additional stressless furniture, or take up to $400 off select recliners. You'll see so many different pieces and colors to choose from. And if you've never done the stressless experience, stop by today and let one of the experts help you out. Financing is now 0% on approved credit with purchases over $1,000. Stressless offer ends October 23rd. Angelus Furniture, 1114 East 1st Street.
National Caristan Month is underway now at McCrory Carpet One, with prices starting at just $2.99 a square foot for carpet and $4.99 a square foot for LVP. If you desire timeless flooring for your home or business, Caristan flooring is flawless, long-lasting, and made for a life lived beautifully. Right now, get 12 months of 0% financing OAC and free delivery. When it comes to the perfect flooring, there's no better combo than Caristan and my friends at McCrory Carpet One.
Newsradio KONP. Traffic and roads.
All right, first look at the roads this morning. Nothing really to tell you about. Just light traffic as we start things on a Tuesday, and no issues accident-wise in Port Angeles or between Port Angeles and Sequim, and in Sequim for that matter. Hood Canal Bridge is open for traffic right now, and no scheduled closures. And a quick glance at the ferries. There's some tidal issues for the Vashon Island ferry, but aside from that, everything else is operating on time with the ferries. So a pretty good start to our Tuesday morning. Right now we have a mix of some clouds and some clearing skies out there. It's 48 degrees in Port Townsend. It's 49 in Forks. Sequim checking in at 42. Downtown Port Angeles 47. And out at the airport we're at 46 degrees at last check. Now the final numbers are in for Taylor Swift's concert movie debut, and while they were record-setting, they're a tiny bit lower than expected, believe it or not. Here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
It's a love story between Taylor Swift and moviegoers. Her official North America debut for the Eras Tour concert film brought in $92.8 million, a little below the $95 to $97 million estimate on Sunday, and also below the $100 million plus estimates before the weekend. But Swift can certainly shake it off, knowing that's still a record opening weekend for a concert film and the second biggest October opening of all time. It also got a rare A+ cinema score from audiences, which were 82% women. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Now, the Success Journal. Here's Chris Whitting.
Alfred and Mark were friends who decided to invent something together. They created a very unusual product. A layer of plastic containing little cells filled with air. The two men named their creation AirCap and figured the stuff would work great as textured wallpaper. But then they had a much better idea: to sell it as packing material. After improving its strength, they trademarked this stuff under a name you know: Bubble Wrap. Today, Sealed Air Corporation sells miles of bubble wrap, Jiffy padded envelopes, and more. Hard to believe, but by selling only packaged air, Al Fielding and Mark Chivans invented a business that now earns $4 billion a year. They built themselves a real financial cushion. With the Success Journal, I'm Chris Whitting.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This is News Radio KONP.
And this is a look at some things that happened on this date in history. October 17th in 1610, French King Louis XIII, who was 9, was crowned 5 months after the assassination of his father, Henry IV. In 1777, British forces under General John Burgoyne surrendered to American troops in Saratoga, New York. It was a turning point in the Revolutionary War. 1807, Britain declared it would continue to reclaim British-born sailors from American ships and ports, regardless of whether they held U.S. citizenship. In 1910, social reformer and poet Julia Ward Howe, the author of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, died in Portsmouth, Rhode Island at the age of 91. 1931, mobster Al Capone was convicted in Chicago of income tax evasion. 1933, on this date, Albert Einstein arrived in the U.S. as a refugee from Nazi Germany. In 1966, 12 New York City firefighters were killed while battling a blaze in Lower Manhattan. In 1973, Arab oil-producing nations announced that they would begin cutting back oil exports to Western nations and Japan. The result was a total embargo that lasted until March of 1974. 1978, President Jimmy Carter signed a bill restoring U.S. citizenship to Confederate President Jefferson Davis. 1979, Mother Teresa of India was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. On this date in 1989, an earthquake measuring 6.9 magnitude struck Northern California, killing 63 people and causing $6 billion worth of damage. In 2013, the government reopened its doors hours after President Obama signed a bipartisan congressional measure passed the night before to end a 16-day partial shutdown. And in 2018, on this date, residents of the Florida Panhandle community of Mexico Beach who had fled Hurricane Michael a week earlier returned home to find houses, businesses, campers all ripped to shreds. The storm had killed at least 59 people and caused more than $25 billion in damage in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia. Some celebrity birthdays today. Michael McKean, you know him from This Is Spinal Tap, and also Laverne and Shirley. Yeah, he's 76 today. George Wendt. Yeah, from Cheers, 75 today. Also having a birthday, Mike Judge, creator of King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, he's 61. Ziggy Marley, yeah, Bob Marley's son, is 55 today. And Eminem, 51 today. Felicity Jones turns 40.
Ah, the freedom of no long-term lease. That's what the Lodge at Sherwood Village in Sequim can offer. Enjoy the spacious studio or a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. Every amenity is comparable to a 5-star hotel. There's a full-service dining room, espresso shop, salon, and exercise room. Coupled with the Lodge's experienced staff, our residents live like they're on vacation without having to leave home. The Lodge at Sherwood Village in Sequim, 660 Evergreen Farm Way. Call today for your tour, 681-3100.
Not only does your Mount Pleasant IGS have everything you think you need, they have so many things you don't even know you need, even gifts. Grab a greeting card and a fabulous bottle of wine from our huge wine selection. They even have local-themed hoodies, t-shirts, magnets, and bottle openers. But don't forget to grab yourself a snack from their hot deli case while you're in. Empanadas, waffles, raspberry and cream cheese bites, and so much more. Mount Pleasant IGS, your country store since 1959.
Let purple rain.
Goes for the home run ball for J. Metcalf. Touchdown. Wrapped up, goes down.
found. Guess who? Boy Tanufi.
This Saturday, UW hopes to extinguish the flame of the Sun Devils in Husky Stadium.
These guys are contenders.
Kickoff is at 7:30.
Oh, what a catch! Roma Tunze climbed the ladder.
Listen all season long on your home for Washington football. The Washington Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm Secretary of State Steve Hobbs. Voting takes less time than picking out your Halloween costume. Ballots will be in the mailbox soon. Fill them out and put them in the mail or your nearest drop box. No stamp required. Visit votewa.gov for more information. That's votewa.gov. The general election is Tuesday, November 7th.
Sponsored by the Office of Secretary of State and aired in cooperation with the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Lance Tormey. Washington has 3 of the 7 cheapest grocery stores in America on the list of 7 cheapest grocery stores in America by U.S. News and World Report. The grocery store for the best value on the list, coming in at number 3, is Winco Foods. Grocery Outlet Bargain Market ranks number 6 on the list for cheapest 7 grocery stores in America. At number 7, Costco Wholesale. Washington State will join Oregon and Montana in receiving nearly $1 billion of grant funding for hydrogen production. But one senator says it would never happen without dams. Senator Mark Schuessler says Washington State's strong and reliable hydropower system provides clean, inexpensive electric power that's needed in hydrogen production. Are you ready for a big earthquake? This Thursday, the emergency alert system in Washington State will be used to announce the test for the Great Shakeout earthquake drill at 10:19. You're encouraged to practice drop, cover, and hold. It's held every year to remind you to prepare. Kaiser Permanente workers in Washington and several other states will vote this week on a tentative contract agreement. Kaiser and the Healthcare Workers Union announcing the tentative agreement late last week following months of disagreement and a 3-day strike earlier this month. Amanda Knox, who's still living in Seattle, voicing optimism about facing a new trial in Italy after her previous slander conviction was overturned on Friday. For more on these and other stories, download the WSNN mobile app or visit WashingtonStateNews.net.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes? Their age? The way they speak? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break
because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a single father of 2 who works 3
part-time jobs and still can't put enough food on the table?
Or maybe a mother who cleans offices at night,
hoping to find meeting leftovers to take home to her hungry family.
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing
a job and getting back on his feet.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Israel has bombed areas of southern Gaza ahead of an expected ground assault. The Israeli military says it's targeting Hamas hideouts, infrastructure, and command centers.
He's coming here at a critical moment for Israel, for the region, and for the world.
Secretary of State Blinken on tomorrow's presidential visit to Israel.
Since the brutal attack 2 weekends ago, the Biden administration has pledged military support to Israel and sent U.S. carriers and aid to the region. White House officials are also planning to seek more funding from Congress. And on Wednesday, the president will deliver an in-person message of solidarity to the leadership and people of the Jewish state.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston says Mr. Biden will also meet with Arab leaders in Jordan. Former President Trump says that if he wins re-election, he'll make sure that not a penny of U.S. funds finds its way to Mideast terrorist groups. The president also pledging to restore order to the southern border, adding that he would adopt strict requirements for would-be immigrants.
If you empathize with radical Islamic terrorists and extremists, you're disqualified. You're just disqualified. If you want to abolish the state of Israel, you're disqualified.
In Mr. Trump's words, we're going to have the largest deportation effort in history. The president spoke yesterday at a rally in Iowa. While not pulling in the welcome mat, New York City is revising some of the housing rules that apply to illegal aliens arriving in the city.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams has announced that he is limiting shelter stays for migrant families with children to 60 days in the city's housing system.
And that report from correspondent Lisa Dwyer. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are down 70 points, NASDAQ futures off 109 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Stop overpaying for wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk saves the average family about $1,000 a year on the most dependable 5G network in the U.S. You can get unlimited talk, text, and plenty of high-speed data for just $30 a month. If you're ready to cut your wireless bill in half, dial pound 250 and say keyword spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250 and say spend less, and make the switch to Pure Talk today.
Vladimir Putin is among friends. The Russian president now visiting communist China.
The visit by Russia's leader highlights China's support for Moscow during its war in Ukraine. The visit also underscores Russia's support as China aims to expand its economic and diplomatic influence abroad. Putin's plane was met by an honor guard as the Russian leader began his visit. His presence in Beijing is to celebrate Chinese President Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative, which aims to build infrastructure and expand China's overseas influence. I'm Karen Chamas.
The French anti-terror prosecutor says a suspected Islamic terrorist declared allegiance to ISIS before fatally stabbing a teacher in a school attack last week. The prosecutor says an audio recording was found by police investigators on the suspect's phone. In it, the alleged attacker declared allegiance to his Islamic State group and expressed his hatred of France. News and analysis at townhall.com. Several members of a California family have pleaded guilty to conspiracy for their role in a ring that shipped stolen catalytic converters worth hundreds of millions of dollars from California to New Jersey.
Federal prosecutors say brothers Tusu Vang, Andrew Vang, and their mother Monica Moa were part of a national network of thieves, dealers, and processors who provided the stolen auto anti-smog devices to a metal refinery for more than $600 million. The three acknowledged receiving $38 million for their roles in the scheme. 21 people have been charged in the case. Catalytic converters are easily stolen and contain precious metals that prosecutors say are sometimes worth more than $1,000 each. California accounts for 37% of catalytic converter theft claims nationwide. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The House due to vote at noon today on Republican Jim Jordan's nomination to serve as Speaker of the House. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the Peninsula's Morning News.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, October 17th. Residents and businesses around Port Angeles cleaning up after a deluge of rain brought near flash flood conditions yesterday afternoon. About 3 p.m., some 2 inches of rain suddenly dropped on the region, all of it coming in less than half an hour. That quick, hard rain quickly overwhelmed storm drains, and with streets flooded, cars were plowing through a foot of water or more in many places. The streets running south to north were like rivers feeding all of this, and it all pushed the water over the curbs and into buildings in many parts of the area. Although forecasters expected heavy showers as a possibility and some thunderstorm cells yesterday, this volume and suddenness of the rain caught meteorologists and street crews by surprise. The printing company that Clallam County uses has been able to get the job done faster for the general election ballots. It means the county will drop those election ballots a day earlier to the post office. They're going out today instead of tomorrow, as was previously announced. More than 57,000 ballots will go out to all active registered Clallam County voters. Election day is Tuesday, November 7th. Those who are qualified new voters have until October 30th to register online or by mail, or have until 8 p.m. on Election Day to register in person at the Elections and Voter Registration Office at the courthouse. Registered voters may access their registration details and other voter information online at votewa.gov. Ballots must be postmarked or returned to a Clallam County ballot drop box by 8 p.m. on Election Day. The Seattle Times reporting the 52-year-old Indiana woman who drowned last week at Ruby Beach in Olympic National Park was brought back to shore by her husband and son, not by bystanders, as was originally reported by national park officials last week. Suzanne Newcomb, an Indianapolis resident and attorney, was vacationing with her family at the park. She was in the beach's tidal zone about 5:30 p.m. Wednesday when she was swept underwater by a wave. Brian Newcomb, Suzanne's husband, confirmed Sunday that the family were on the beach at low tide when his wife was swept off a rock by a wave. The couple's 17-year-old son immediately jumped in to try to rescue her, and Brian Newcomb, alerted by the screams of their 12-year-old daughter, said he also ran into the water. After a struggle in the sea, clinging to rocks amid crashing waves, Brian Newcomb said he and his son managed to pull Suzanne to shore. Among the bystanders were some vacationing nurses who helped perform CPR for about 40 minutes before medics arrived to continue life-saving efforts, but Suzanne Newcomb was eventually pronounced dead at Olympic Medical Center. The Lower Elwha Clallam tribe's first coho fishery on an Elwha River unimpeded by dams in more than 100 years got underway last week. Most of the river had been blocked to fish migration by the Elwha and Glines Canyon dams until they were torn down by 2014. Since then, tribal, national park, and state officials have been monitoring the river, waiting for a salmon run healthy enough to be fished on a limited scale. It is a very limited fishery for tribal and subsistence usage only, just 400 coho out of a total run of about 7,000 expected. The allowed method of fishing is by pole and line until later this week, when net fishing across half the river will be used until the fish limit of 400 is complete. We spoke with Tribal Chairwoman Frances Charles and Vice Chair Russ Hepfer about how the fishing was going after 1 week and what it means to tribal members to return to fishing after a long hiatus. Here's Chairwoman Charles on the tribe's October 9th opening day celebration on the river.
It was really inspired, very, very powerful to see what was taking place on our celebration, but just the glows and the smiles of our elders, the happy tears that we seen, and watching the little ones, having a few of them get a fish on their hook, and it was a joyful day for everybody.
Hepfer said as of yesterday, about 50 salmon had been caught using rod and reel, and 125 people had signed up for a permit, including a lot of younger ones.
They are. My son went down there. He's 17, and his group of friends went down, and I'm excited about that because they're young, and I'm glad they want to go fishing. So, but they're excited. I see people heading down the river every day. I'm pretty happy that we caught 50 fish, but I think that just goes to show you that traditionally we didn't use fishing poles.
Hepfer says this year's estimate of 7,000 returning cohos is still growing, and the number shows steady improvement over the last few years. He said they'll likely go to using nets across a part of the river this week in hopes of reaching that goal of 400 salmon.
We call this a CNS fishery, but in reality it's a test fishery because we're sampling literally every fish that's caught. They measure them and determine what sex they are, take scales, see if they got imprints in them, and sure, they're looking at every fish. So we will be taking a look at when we can put in the net, because we want to hit that 400 number for the data.
This is Newsradio KONP.
Enjoy the fall season with help from Airport Garden Center. Stop by and see our garden experts. They'll help you create a beautiful yard and garden that will come back year after year. And with fall in the air, we're offering deep discounts now at Airport Garden Center. Our huge fall plant sale is on now. Each week, catch a different plant category at 40% off. And all month long, receive 20% off evergreen shrubs, glazed outdoor pottery, and wooden trellises. And it's the perfect time to boost your lawn with a buy 3, get the 4th bag free sale going on all month long on G&B Soil Building Conditioner. View our sale flyer on the website or social media to find out which plants will be on sale each week. Are you looking for a special, unique gift? Airport Garden Center is proud to support locally sourced items. Full Moon Candles and Pacific Rain Shadow Farms handcrafted soap, just to name a few. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
Would you like a beautiful new bathroom for the holidays? Hi, I'm Ursula Royteen for locally owned Bath Fitter. Bath Fitter just transformed my bathroom, and they can do the same for you in as little as 1 day. Get a new bathtub, safe walk-in shower, or tub-to-shower conversion now and pay 0 interest and make 0 payments until 2025. For nearly 40 years, Bath Fitter Northwest has done 40,000 local remodels. Hurry and book now and have a gorgeous new bathroom for the holidays. Go to bathfitternw.com.
Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel offer experience you can lean on and the compassion to ease your loss. Their job is to help families cope with loss of loved ones by removing the stress involved in planning funeral arrangements. All of the staff has a real heart for serving families and their needs in the most difficult of times. They truly realize the importance in what they're doing for the community. Squim Valley Funeral Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel in Port Angeles, the caring support you'll need in your time of loss.
All Weather Heating and Cooling is your Mitsubishi authorized dealer. Mitsubishi electric heating and cooling systems offer efficient individual room control with allergen filtration, no ductwork, and dramatic energy savings. Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Systems. Live better. Contact All Weather Heating and Cooling today.
Here's your Newsradio KONP forecast. Scattered rain showers likely today, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Highs